Yes, yes. Let me do
Yes.
some recording as well, and then I will make a slide show. Okay, so today we will be sharing about pesticide mixing, and like I said, the question would be: is this a safe practice? Is this a wrong practice, or should we leave, or should we just continue with an exception of this and that? And I want to say that by the end of today, we shall have a better opinion on what decisions, as informed farmers, I would like to classify ourselves as informed farmers, we shall be having a better decision of what to do. Now, we look at some aspects or points or else or considerations, as we are controlling a single pest like, let's say, twig borer, yeah, and we have choices, either we use one or more pesticides. Now, um, for this scenario, I'm using a twig borer because I'm hoping that by the end of the day, Mzee Kizito will have gone with an answer or two, even if even if the time is out. Our meeting is always scheduled for 40 minutes. Yeah. So for that matter, is we look at stages at which this pest is. So in that case, uh, let's say we have adults being observed in the garden as we do scouting. We are able to see adults, we are able to see larvae or nymphs or eggs, and our analysis reports zeros to maybe one or two or three stages of that same pest appearing or seen in the garden. So now, I had pointed out these two active ingredients, which one of them is abamectin, and specifically showing that it is targeting the adult pest, and then the other one is chlorphentazine, which is targeting the larvae, the nymphs, and the eggs. Now, for this case scenario, mixing chemicals can be done at recommended, I would call it recommended steps, or else, how would you call it? You see, for every pesticide, it comes with a label with instructions. And some of these chemicals, yes, they may be adopting, or not even adopting, I think it is called, they may be, when mixed, they harmonize well, yeah, and the others, when mixed, they will always antagonize. We can use antagonism. They will antagonize. They will not be in this. They will not form a uniform mixture. So those are some of the physical characteristics, or else signs, or yeah, I think I would say signs, that we can see to know, okay, the two of these when mixed do not make a harmonious mixture. Harmonious mixture simply means that if chemical A and chemical B are mixed and they are both white colors, it should all mix into a whitish coloration mixture without changing color, or else without coagulating. Coagulating is simply the formation of, I would say, lumps or clogs after mixing the two pesticides or any other pesticides or chemical. So for different stages, we learn that because we want to attack the adult, the chemical abamectin will act in a kind of mode that will only and only kill the adults. Now, that means when we spray only abamectin, uh, it will only, I would say, kill the adults. And in a short period of time, the eggs will hatch into the nymph, and the nymph into the, into the larvae, then the nymphs, then the adult again. So in a short period of time, maybe 2 weeks time, you have the same pest infestation in the garden. So in that matter, it means that, or else it indicates that there was a stage of that pest that was not fully handled. So now it either means two things. One, if both the chemicals, when mixed together, that is, of course, you don't mix the original chemical. You have to mix one in the water, then after mix the other one in another water, and then mix the two mixtures together with the first mixture with the chemical A, and then the second mixture with the chemical B, and then we bring them together and then mix well, or to achieve a harmonious solution at the end of the day. So when this happens, and the chemical A was to target adults, and the chemical B was to target eggs, or else larvae, or else any other stage of the pest, and it is harmoniously mixing, then the mixture is more likely to give better results, and reinfestation would take longer, or else it would take you more than 2 weeks to see the same pest in the garden. So many of us tend to, I would say, if the word is not harsh, we tend to overlook, uh, the results, and then focus on what we think. No, 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 no. If I mix this and this one is strong, and also this one is strong, I will get a better result. And that is a very, I would say, not appropriate approach, because of reasons that we didn't put in mind uh, what we call, or something to say, if I mix chemical A and chemical B, they would give a harmonious mixture, or else they would antagonize, or this one doesn't react well with the other mixture or the other chemical, and then they will form clogs and all other forms, which will always and always bring down the efficacy of the pesticides that we are buying. Now, the second point to look at uh, is about if both pesticides are enhanced when mixed. Now, having them enhanced, the technical term would be potentation. Now, this potentation here, it means there is an improved efficacy, or else the toxicity of the mixture for the two pesticides gives.
How do you know?
Effect. Yes.
Please, Usam. Jim, please don't forget that. Give them more water.
Mr. Momodo, you're welcome. However, this is meant for the farmers. I don't
My
know
ball.
whether it would be okay with you.
Jim. Huh? All right.
Mr. Momodo, this is a meeting for the farmers. I don't know whether it will be okay with you to continue with us, but we are trying to analyze the effect of chemicals, their use.
But the helmet and no concorda.
Sorry, I think I have to mute him. Yeah, I think I have to mute him so that we can continue. He's one of the, I would say, organizers for some of the, one of the export companies that is trying to open up some export market for the farmers. So when I shared the link to the group, I think he joined in. But last time, I think it wasn't appropriate for him. It was supposed to be for the farmers. So sorry about that. Otherwise, if we continue, we are looking at what we call potentiation. Now, potentiation is when I get a chemical A and mix it with chemical B and get a more, I would say, more effective solution without disrupting the effectiveness of the two chemicals. Now, how does this, or how do we establish that this happens? And actually, today's lesson, today's training should have been practical a bit, but I think we can arrange this one of these days and have a practical session where we have to clearly see some of these things that we are talking about happen. And of course, they give us a better understanding of what we are trying to present. So that is what we describe as potentiation, or else what potentiation means. Then we control more pests with selective pesticide per spray, or else per. Now, here, when we do a selective control, that means, of course, one of the generalization of pesticides is either it is a broad spectrum, or else it is a single target. Let's take an example of Actara. Actara is a very good chemical brand that will sweep all white flies at whatever levels of infestation in just a space of 12 hours. And I know some of the effects of its infestation is sometimes 5 hours is enough for you to see the result. And the other thing is that it is under a less toxic group of chemicals. But of course, it will always come to the expense of purchase, and it is always expensive to buy or else to purchase because of those unique qualities it has. And in that matter, that for a farmer to afford it, because 1 kilogram is something between 650,000 Ugandan shillings. So it is always better for farmers who really are putting production to a large scale, that they can really afford to buy it. Otherwise, it is costly for us to afford. But why I brought it to us is to see some of these selective pesticides, that it will only target one pest and kill it to the maximum. Now, the control or else the mixture of some of these selective pesticides will always give a poor result. Why? Is they are formulated in all ways possible to stay in their stable, I would say, mixtures when mixed with water, until they give a full effect on the pest when in contact. And if it is acting through systemic procedures, then it will have to give a better effect even after spray, days after spraying. So we need to know these pesticides before we mix them. Then we need to know the effect of mixing two groups of these. We have pyrethroids, and then we have organophosphates. Now, mixing of organophosphates, just a minute, I'll have to call this off, otherwise it will disrupt my network. Mr. Levi, can I get back to you after I'm just conducting the training? Yes, I will get back to you. Okay, I hope we are still on.
Yes, we are still on.
Okay. So you are still seeing the screen?
No, we are only seeing you. You're just seeing your face.
Yeah, yes, I got an interruption with the phone call, and I think the connection disrupted a bit. But let me try to get, okay. Okay, so now I was talking about mixing organophosphates. What are organophosphates? These are some of the pesticides that are highly toxic, and most of them are classified into class 1A, class 1B. Now, and their labels will always have a color coding for red. So if you look at the label of any pesticide you buy, if it is a genuine product, its color coding will always tell you whether it is toxic or very toxic or less toxic or averagely toxic, or else it is the toxicity is not known. So most of these okay, whatever I'm saying is for us to better understand what we mean when we say organophosphates. It's a kind of a technical term that when we don't elaborate it, it kind of misleads the explanation. Then pyrethroids, some of the organophosphates, maybe if I give examples, we have what most of us use as rocket. Yeah, sorry to say, but I think you can attest to it if you have used it. And then also, yeah, we have rocket, we have these days imidacloprid has been also identified as one of the toxic chemicals. And then when we come to pyrethroids, I will have to say one of them is the hypermethrins, and then the others in that class. But mixing both of these is a wrong act, and it will always affect the quality of the mixture. Now, when we are mixing them, of course, now here they told us we have to avoid the use of pesticides from the same group. Okay, I think I beg to stand, I mean to correct my explanation. I think I had said we shouldn't mix both organophosphates and pyrethroids. I will stand to correct that. Now, organophosphates is in another group different from pyrethroids. Now, if we say we are supposed to not mix from the same group, it's like you cannot get a pyrethroid and then mix it with another pyrethroid, or else you get an organophosphate and mix it with another organophosphate in the same group. That is what is wrong. But I think we have to mixing an organophosphate with a pyrethroid, that would give or that would be recommended. But to me, still, I would say that we have to make how would you call it, a test mixture, because individually, much as they may be from different groups, as we shall sit down, they may not be compatible. So it is really of a big concern that we have to do sample testing, and then we use smaller volumes of the mixture of both that we have to mix, and then make a small spray and monitor where you have sprayed or the plant you have sprayed for 12 hours to see the reaction. If there is the reaction is good, then you can go ahead and do a larger mixing and application. So in what we have to avoid is not to mix pesticides from the same group, e.g. two pyrethroids. Then we have to use two broad pesticides with the same, we have not to use two broad pesticides with the same mode of action. Yeah, and here they give us an example of an organophosphate with the carbamate. And then lastly, we should not use pesticides not targeting the pests. I want to express this, that literally if you use, let's say, a fungicide and use it for a pest, for an insect pest, then and then we mix, then it will give a wrong result, or else a bad result. Why is, first of all, the other chemical is not in whatsoever way manufactured, or else I would say made to kill any insect pest, but rather a fungal disease. And then we are using it with something else that is targeting a pest. So use of pesticide not targeting the pest may be a little bit dangerous. We can have two insecticides, but one of them is targeting, let's say, white flies, and then the other is targeting thrips, and we are mixing two of them to kill thrips, or else to kill the borer. Let's say we have the borer, and then we are using, let's say, deltamethrin. Deltamethrin can be found in a product name called Desis. Yeah, and then also we have to use an nimbecidine, which has a neem oil extract as a directin, as the active ingredient. So both of these may be harmoniously mixing, but they may not give a proper effect, or else they can even cause what we call resistance. Why? Is we are using a wrong chemical to kill a pest which is not affected by that chemical. In that time, wait a minute. How many minutes we've gone? 32 minutes. Oh my God. All right, let me see how I can push faster. We have 8 minutes left on the clock. So I hope we have had an understanding of that. And then if we continue, we have some examples showing that some chemicals, mixing chemicals is not bad, but following the adaptability, the compatibility, and also the reaction when two of them are mixed will always give you a go ahead, or else will always lead you to stop. And that's the heading that's saying that mixing of pesticides is not illegal, and sometimes information on the label has already mixed chemicals already. If you take an example of cymoxanil, which is 8% in this product, was already mixed with mancozeb, which has 64% in this product. So you can, and the product name is called Curazet M8. Yeah, and it's a systemic because of the mode of action of cymoxanil, and then it is contact as well because of the mode of action of mancozeb. So it is always going to give you a curative and also a protective effect when used or when sprayed. When we go down here, we also have another example of Clayton, which has already cymoxanil. It has cymoxanil and also 68% of wettable mancozeb, and then also some other very long named active ingredient at the end. However, you can always see that the formulations will always change with the percentages because of how much of the other active ingredient is mixed to this. In this Clayton, we see our cymoxanil at 4.5%, and yet here above in Curazet, we see it at 8%, and having mancozeb at 64%, whereas the mancozeb in Clayton is 68%. So you literally know that here, Clayton is more of a curative, is more of a protectant, than a curative. Also here, the Churazet, because of the higher percentage of cymoxanil, yeah, it will show you that it is more curative than Clayton because mancozeb is low and in Clayton mancozeb is high. Then cymoxanil, which is curative, is high in Curazet and then lower in Clayton. So some of these, I'm speaking them not because I wanted to talk or to talk about them, but because at the end of the what I'm talking, it will give you already a choice, a decision-making tool. How do I compare? If they give me two products and they all act on the same thing, how do I choose the best out of the two products? So that is literal. This was literally showing us how we can choose, or else how either it is illegal or it is not illegal to mix chemicals. So in this diagram here, I was trying to show or illustrate when we mix two chemicals and we don't get any increased effect, technically that one is termed as an addictive effect. So you mix chemical A, which is here, to chemical B, which is here, and the result is still the same. So there is no addictive, there's no additive. I would say not addictive, additive. There's nothing increased, it stays the same. And that means that somebody who would have used only chemical A would get the same result without chemical B. So meaning to a farmer, mixing both of them would have made a loss of chemical B when the two of them are mixed. So that's what it means. Then when the potentiation we had seen, which shows an increased toxicity, is when we mix chemical A plus chemical B, we get a more toxic solution, of course, which comes with toxicity. Now it becomes more toxic to the pest. So it gives us a better effect after we mix two chemicals and we have a better action, which term is called potentiation. Let me see if there is any chat here. No screen. Hello, everybody. Okay. Yeah, I hope we are all seeing the screen now. I think this came in a little bit earlier. Then we have what we call synergism, yeah, which almost means the same. Chemical A from a different group being mixed with the chemical B of a different group gives you, it synergizes, it gives you an increased toxicity as well. So it is the reason why I say that much as the both chemicals are coming from different groups, let's make sure before we mix a larger volume, we do a testing. And the result of that test will give us a decision whether to mix a larger volume or not. But synergism simply means mixing chemical A from a different group plus chemical B will always give you an increased toxicity. Then antagonism is when chemical A and chemical B, when mixed, will give you a reduced toxicity. That is, somebody who would have used only chemical A will get a better result than the one who used both chemical A and chemical B. Meaning chemical B has actually antagonized with chemical A contents and they reduced the effectiveness of the whole solution. And that means you spray and you see no results. And I think this would mark our today's session, just to save some 2 minutes to try to go through. It's a bit short today, but I think it is impactful. I haven't still been able to buy more minutes, but yeah, we are almost finishing. I'm seeing we are left with about 4 slides for us to finish this chemical thing. In the meantime, today, Mr. Kizito is asking about challenges of red blister. For those of you with comments, we can drop them in the chat box, and then we can get back to them. Yeah. So Mr. Kizito was saying he has challenges with the red blister disease in coffee, and also the weed management, and then also mealybugs and twig borer. So mealybugs and twig borer, these are insect pests, and then this red blister disease is typically a disease, and good enough is that it's a fungal disease and can be cured, and most especially with copper-based applications. Meanwhile, mealybugs and twig borer is a bit funny that it will be inside, inside what? Inside the stem of the coffee branch. So the best solutions would be systemic solutions. And I would like to say, since we are left with just a minute, I'm going to give maybe an Azofa, Mr. Kisto, I'm going to give you a spray program for the coffee, but majorly handling these three diseases. So we can have a demo area to practice these schedules or else programs. But again, at the end of the day, it should be giving us a result that we can maximize and keep our coffee garden safe. Yeah, so just because of time, I can't express all this. However, for weed management, I would like to advise that you adopt what we call line weeding, and then also do some blockering of the field. After you block out the field, then you have to put a buoy